Well, Michael, thank you so much for that very generous introduction. You referenced my dad, and we're just talking about why I got into politics. And I have been around politics my whole life, and a lot of it in the public eye. I get reminded about that thanks to the Globe and Mail and their moments in time. That was unexpected. But my own political career really began about 15 months ago when I announced that I was running for the PC party nomination in my riding of York Simcoe. So that was in early August 2017. And thinking back to those days now, they seem like much simpler times. Back then I would go to small community events in my riding and I'd make fun of my brother Ben. And usually that got me a lot of laughs and helped me earn some support along the way. And then there was the day last May when my nephews carried Meghan Markle's train in the royal wedding. And take it from me, from someone who's been around politics and politicians her whole life, I think that must have been the greatest day for any politician in a Commonwealth country ever. So unfortunately I couldn't attend the wedding. I had to decline my invitation that somehow never made it. I had 3 debates that weekend, and it was a beautiful day to go canvassing. It was a long weekend, and I was knocking on doors in one of the communities in my riding called Holland Landing. And there was a beautiful property. And if you're in politics, you look at properties based on how your lawn signs would look and how many you could get on it. So there was a beautiful property on a corner in Holland Landing. And I walked down the driveway, and the owner was getting in his truck and getting ready to leave. And so I walked up to him. He unrolled the window, and I handed him my literature. And he said, Mulroney. I said, yes. He said, Brian Mulroney? And I said, well, Caroline Mulroney, but yes, he's my dad. And he said, no way, I am never, ever voting for someone related to that guy. And I said, well, do you want Kathleen Wynne to win and serve another term in government? He said, oh, geez, I don't know, you're gonna have to talk to the boss. So now I'm a little nervous. His sons are looking at me and they're shaking their heads. And so I go to the back porch, I knock on the door, and the boss comes out, and I hand her my literature, and I said, my name is Caroline Mulroney, and I want to be your MPP for York Simcoe, and can I please have your support? She looked down at my literature, and she said, Mulroney? I said, yeah. She said, Brian Mulroney? I said, yeah. She said, like that little boy who carried Meghan Markle's train in the wedding? And I said, yes. Can I have a lawn sign? And she said, you can have 2. So that was a great day for a politician, and things have moved quickly since then. It's been 5 months, 6 months now, I guess, since Meghan became the Duchess of Sussex, and 5 months since we were elected, and 4 since I've become Attorney General and Minister responsible for Francophone affairs. And it is really the greatest honor of my lifetime to have been appointed in this role, and so it is my great pleasure to be here today to address you. The Federation of Ontario Law Associations, and I want to start by expressing how much I and my colleagues at the Ministry of the Attorney General appreciate the great work that you and all of Ontario's law associations are doing in advocating for better justice across our province. As we promised during our campaign and are already delivering on in our administration, our government is committed to making Ontario open for business and creating an environment where all Ontarians can benefit and prosper. In our first few months in office, my cabinet colleagues and I have been meeting with individuals, groups, and professions like yours to listen and to learn about the challenges that Ontarians face and hear your suggestions on how to drive Ontario's growth in a real and sustainable way. As a government for the people, one of our key priorities is to engage all Ontarians on what they want and what they need to succeed. As a result, we have delivered unprecedented action through the Making Ontario Open for Business Act that was introduced in the legislature late last month. This is only the beginning, as our focus on making Ontario open for business extends through every decision we make as a government. In our justice system, this means taking action to streamline processes, break down barriers, and make the legal system more accessible to Ontarians, improving transparency and ease of use, and ultimately reducing the amount of time and money people and businesses spend in courts and tribunals and dealing with the legal system. Our government values people's time and their money in the same way they do, in the same way all of you do. As our government and as partners in the justice system, we all need to look carefully at what are in many cases arcane processes and procedures, to find ways to allow people to keep more of their time and of their money, and also deepen their trust in the administration of justice. This is why I am so pleased to be here to speak with you today about how we can move forward together toward ensuring the justice system is responsive and fair to all Ontarians. Now, you hear many industries and sectors talk about modernization, disruption, and innovation. These cannot just be buzzwords for us in the justice sector. Rather, they are critical elements to creating a justice system that is responsive and accessible for the people who need to use it. Modernizing technologies and processes represents a fundamental step towards achieving this vision and commitment. For individuals who are experiencing the justice system for the very first time, it can be outright jarring just to see how slow the technologies and processes that how slow processes and technologies have been to catch up with the 21st century, and in many cases, even the 20th century. In many cases, our courts have become mired in outdated ways of doing business. Whether it's enhancing the availability of electronic filing, standardizing the use of digitally available evidence, or providing easier and more accessible support to court participants through the internet or video conferencing, we are looking at a variety of ways to bring justice to the people faster and more efficiently, and hopefully with fewer headaches along the way. Technology will also open up new ways for us to ensure that our system is more reflective of our diverse province, including addressing questions of representation, particularly among Indigenous communities. Nous travaillons aussi pour améliorer l'accès à la justice pour les collectivités francophones. As I'm sure all of you have come to appreciate, ours is not a government of the status quo, and we will not rest while our courts and our justice system continue to fall behind the pace of the lives of the people in Ontario. A key component of our modernization process is to engage with professional groups such as the province's law associations, to understand your experiences and the barriers you see every day across your practice areas. We need your help to find solutions and plot an effective and meaningful course forward together. While critical, technology is only one part of the solution. We have heard loud and clear that there are procedural hurdles that have been on the books too long and that no longer achieve the objectives for which they were intended. We know civil juries can result in unnecessary costs and delay in certain circumstances. We share the concerns we've shared the concerns that we have heard that the use of jury trials in simplified procedure matters has proven inconsistent with the purpose of the rule. We are actively pursuing reforms on this front, working with the Rules Committee to ensure trials are conducted more efficiently to avoid taking an unnecessary toll on the time and money of Ontarians. Reforms to the simplified procedure process are just one solution, perhaps what some might call an easy fix. But this is only the first step of many. We want to hear from you and your members on the next steps to tackle bigger issues. Those of you who continue to practice every day in communities across Ontario are best placed to help us find solutions, to help ensure people are spending more time with their families and businesses are spending more time creating jobs and less time dealing with the justice system. Just as we are working to make the civil justice system more effective, We are also focusing on how we can enhance the provincial criminal system. The Jordan decision remains a focus for us, as I know it does across Canada, and we are engaging on a variety of strategies to meet our obligations. As a government and as a ministry, we are doing our part to relieve the pressures in our courts and streamline our procedures. And we will work with our federal counterparts to continue to address this issue. We have heard from you about the importance of the transition to the unified family courts in communities across our province, and how this will make life easier for families at the most difficult moments. This will be a priority for us. And so I have gone on about some of our ideas and our plans, but one of the reasons I'm here today is to listen to you and your ideas on how we can make Ontario's courts and justice system better for the people across our province. So I would like to open up the floor, but not to pose a traditional or to start a traditional question and answer period, but I'd rather like to pose a question to everyone here. What suggestions do you have on how we can build a justice system that achieves just results while valuing the time and money of every person and business that interacts with it? No idea should be off the table. We will take your ideas back to our team at MAG to consider them. As we endeavor to build a better, more responsive justice system, it is my sincere hope that the dialogue we begin today will continue to grow and steer our work together. Thank you. Merci.